Thank you very much, and welcome to all members to the 10th meeting of the 2019 Standards, Procedures and Public Appointments Committee. And agenda item 1, our first item today, is a decision to take business in private. And can I ask the committee to agree to take items 4 and 5 in private, item 4 being a consideration of the committee's work programme, and item 5 is for consideration of correspondence the committee has received. Do members agree to take these items in private? Agreed. Thank you. Okay, and agenda item 2 relates to cross-party groups. And the first item here is an application for recognition from a proposed cross-party group on Russia. Andy Whiteman, MSP, has joined us this morning, who would be the convener of the proposed group. And I'd like to welcome Andy Whiteman, MSP, here to the meeting and invite you to make a short opening statement on the purpose of the group, please.
Thanks very much indeed, Convener. As the committee will be aware, this group existed in the previous Parliament. It also existed in this Parliament. It's a group that is intended to foster better understanding and awareness of Russia, its place in the world and our relationships with it. From your papers, you'll be aware that the group was, not sure if the word is disbanded, due to failure to comply with the rules, and I'm happy to talk about that if you wish. But the significant thing is I think there is a growing interest in Russia, our relationships with Russia, Russia's place in the world, and we are keen to see this group re-established.
Thank you very much. Can I ask members if they have any questions of Mr. Whiteman, please? Yes, Mark.
Thanks. I was just going to ask about membership. So what was the membership of the original group in the last session and the wider membership in this session? Because obviously there are MSPs that are members, but I didn't get a sense of the papers of who is coming along to this group. What are the interests that want to get into discussion with MSPs about Russia's position in the world?
So I don't recall, I'm afraid, who were the members in the previous session. I haven't prepped myself for that. But the non-MSP members of the group that wound up in 2017 were the Princess Dashkova Centre at the University of Edinburgh, the Scotland-Russia Forum, National Museums of Scotland, Thornton's Law, LLP. I think there was one more, and there was a number of individuals.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you very much. And Tom Mason, please.
Those organisations, have you actually contacted them? They have agreed to join, have they?
Yes, indeed. We
so
have.
Why didn't you put them in the application?
Because the application went in immediately after our meeting of a few weeks ago, when we had the initial meeting to agree the purpose and the office bearers and submit the application to standards. So we literally wanted to get that in early, and we have emailed all the members who were on the previous cross-party group, and I think all bar one of the individuals wants to become involved again. The other one just hasn't replied yet. And the Princess Dashkova Centre at the University of Edinburgh and the Scotland-Russia Forum have agreed they would wish to become members, but of course they will be only formally agreed at the first meeting of the cross-party group.
Can we have Maureen first and then Jamie, please?
Thank you, Convener. Morning, Andy. You said that you contacted previous members of the group. Did you not think to maybe send out an email to all MSPs and all researchers saying they were thinking of reconvening and setting up this group again to see if there was wider interest in it?
I'm pretty sure I did send out an email some months ago, but I'm afraid I don't recollect what. I'm pretty sure I did, inviting whether MSPs were interested, and that's where the interest came from, the 5 members. So I may not have, sorry, I don't recall all my...
Well, I can't recall seeing it, and I did try and check back, and I couldn't see CPG in Russia coming up in any items, including deleted items. So I just think it's important that CPGs are a bit more reaching out to other MSPs, not just in when setting up a group, but also when they are having a group meeting, because there may be something on the agenda that interests some people who may not necessarily want to become members of the group, but are interested in a particular item that's coming up. So I think it's important that CPGs, not just this one, but all CPGs are more expansive in the information that they send out.
Yes, just to confirm, at all the meetings we did have, we circulated an email to all MSPs inviting them. And I can say a little bit more about the meetings that we did have, if you
That's all
like,
right.
Convener, because I mean, the information you have in front of you notes correctly that there were 2 formal meetings of the cross-party group. The first was on the 20th of October 2016, and the second was on the 9th of February 2016, when we had a speaker, Dr. Derek Aver from the University of Birmingham, talking about Russia's policies in Ukraine and Syria. We had 2 further events in Parliament that year. They were cross-party group hosted events. They were not formal meetings of the cross-party group, and it's really my fault that I didn't think to make them formal CPGs, because we had plenty of MSPs at them and they would have meant that we were in compliance with the rules. On the 9th of May 2017, we had a meeting called Loaded Words. There were about 100 people attended this meeting, including, I think, 5 or 6 MSPs, plus about 4 or 5 MSP staff. Speakers included Ben Nimmo from the Atlantic Council Digital Forensic Research Lab, Andras Rax from the Prismani Peter Catholic University in Budapest, Floriana Fassato from the Centre for Media and Society, Oxford University, and Jakub Kalinski from the East Stratcom Task Force of the EU. That was a very popular event, attracted a lot of media attention. As I recall, it even got a front page on the Herald newspaper. And on the 25th of October 2017, we had another CPG hosted event, not a formal meeting of the CPG, with Angus Roxburgh, who I'm sure members will know, former BBC Moscow correspondent, talking about his book that he was publishing, his memoirs, called Moscow Calling. And again, that was a well-attended meeting. We had over 100 people. As I recall, we had a waiting list for that. So we were actually very active, but it's my fault perhaps that I didn't think to make those second 2 meetings, which had plenty of MSPs in attendance, formal meetings of the CPG.
Okay, well, thank you for that. There's always lessons, I suppose, to be picked on anything, but thank you. And Jamie, please.
Morning, Andy. One of the areas of topics that you've indicated you're going to cover is propaganda and disinformation. And, you know, you've covered a number of organisations that are going to be non-members of the group, but I was just wondering how you will manage your engagement perhaps with, whether there will be any engagement with, obviously, representatives of the Russian state and other organisations that may have links to the Russian state, such as some of the media that may have more than less than an independent viewpoint. So I was just wondering if that's an area that you've considered or issue or anything like that.
Well, we will have, obviously, if the CPG is approved, we will have engagement as appropriate with representatives of the Russian government. I could imagine, for example, one of the areas that we're keen on pursuing is, forgive me, trade and commerce. And we have I have somebody who formerly worked for the British Chambers of Commerce in Moscow, who was not involved in the previous iteration of the group, whom I met at an event at the University of Edinburgh. Is very keen to become involved. We'd be very keen to participate in a meeting, and I think if we had a meeting on issues around trade and commerce, it would be almost inevitable that we would reach out to the at least the commercial attaché, or whatever they're called, at the Russian consulate on that. So we will engage as appropriate.
And what about organisations like RT or Sputnik that have, have involvement in Edinburgh? Is that something you've considered, or is that something that's?
I don't think it's normal for media outlets to be members of cross-party groups. They themselves are agents of the Russian state, and were the subject of the meeting we had on the 9th of May 2017. And in fact, one of them was very vocal in the Russian media about why they hadn't been invited to the meeting. but we took a decision not to invite them.
Okay, thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Jamie. And Tom, please. Thank you.
Just one of consistency. Russia doesn't appear on the Trading Nation government report. Didn't include Russia on its list of possible trading partners. And yet we're setting up a group for Russia. Does that make sense?
Could you clarify the fact that Russia's not...
Well, on the trading,
we trade with Russia.
well, on the recent government report on Trading Nation, I think it's called, it listed the objective countries that we ideally trade with, getting the best returns from. It didn't include Russia in the list at all. It included Japan and US and Germany and various other places, but never didn't include Russia. It just seems to be, we seem to be inconsistent. You said we setting up a Russian group, and yet it's not part of the objectives of the overall country's trading objective.
Well, with respect, I don't know the report you're referring to, but our intention here has got nothing to do with what the UK government thinks.
The Scottish government, not?
Or indeed the Scottish government. This is a cross-party group of parliamentarians and outside interests. It's nothing to do with government. Obviously, Russia is not a country that is high on Scotland's or the UK's trade relationship in terms of volume of trade. I don't know where it is. I'm sorry, I don't have that figure, but it won't be in the top 10. But there are very, very strong links, and there's very, very historic links, particularly between Scotland and Russia. Extremely historic links, and I think in the current climate in the world, where we need to build trust and confidence and reach out, I think Russia is one of the most important countries with which to engage, to build that peace and stability, certainly in Europe and the wider world. And I think Scotland's got a key role to play in that.
Thank you very much for that. We're going to have to bring this a bit to a close because we're running on a wee bit more than we expected. But Gil, please. Gil
Just a
Patterson.
quick question. I think you were alluding to the fact that your reason for the group ceasing to function, I think you were alluding to the fact that you were non-compliant because of MSPs not being in attendance, but you didn't actually say that. Was that your reasoning?
Yes, sorry, I think that's... sorry, I thought that was in your papers. But there
Just
were...
actually put it in the public record.
Fine, yes. As I understand it, the requirement is to have a minimum of 2 quorate meetings per year. We had 2 formal meetings of the CPG, only one of which was quorate. We then did not hold an AGM because we were aware that we had failed to meet the rules. We could have quickly convened a pseudo CPG, I suppose, to comply with the rules. But as I say, it's my fault really that I didn't think to include those 2 extremely popular events we had, to make them formal CPG meetings, just to do 10 minutes of formal business and then into the substance, and that would have kept us straight. But that's correct, Mr. Patterson, yes.
I wouldn't beat myself up with that one, to be quite frankly. So it
I'll
happens.
take your advice, thank you.
Thank you very much, Gil. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. That was very worthwhile. I hope it wasn't too strenuous for you there, Andy Whiteman. And thank Andy Whiteman for your attendance. We'll let you know what the committee, after some conversation, we'll let you know a decision, and we hope to do that as soon as possible. Is that okay?
Thank you very much, Convener.
Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so we're moving on to agenda item 3 then, and agenda item 3 is regarding cross-party group approval. Now, is to consider whether to accord recognition to the proposed cross-party group on Russia and the proposed party group on cross-party group on the USA. So could I just ask anyone for any comments that they have following our talk with Andy Whiteman, please? Gil.
Yeah, you had a comment at the end there, beating himself up. We can make these mistakes, and by the sound of it, without judging whether it's a good or a bad thing, but the fact that when we consider this one, what was happening before, a turnout of that number of people to an event would suggest there is a need, and you know that it will be successful in that regard. So yeah, I would conclude that we should approve it.
Okay, thank you. And Mark?
Yes, I agree with that. I mean, it's clear that this is a group that's in the wider public interest. It's been very successful. I think perhaps the only glitch has just been in terms of the way that the Secretariat has been organised, and perhaps the failure in this case to identify the two very popular meetings as CPG meetings. I think if they'd done that, clearly they would have remained compliant. So, I mean, perhaps if the committee was minded to approve, we could write back to Mr. Whiteman and just, you know, point out some tips there on just ensuring compliance. But no, I mean, it seems to be very much in the public interest, and perhaps provides an interesting matching pair with the USA CPG as well.
Right, okay. No, I think actually, to be honest, the fact that Andy Whiteman did recognise that there were basically secretarial issues to be looked at, I think that's important, and the fact that it's been brought up at this meeting today will have been useful from that point of view. So thank you. Anyone else have any? Tom?
Well, I would have been happy with more information actually in the application as opposed to having to wait for it to come through on presentation. But I mean, I have no objection to it, but I just find it, you know, it's a bit inconsistent with this fact we're not, as a nation, not having Russia high in our sights as one of our trading partners. But that doesn't matter in itself.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that as well. All right, everyone. Okay, so do members agree to accord recognition to the proposed cross-party group on Russia? Agreed. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so that's that. Next, can we, circulated, you've had further information regarding the proposed cross-party group on the USA, and Dean Lockhart, who is the who would be the convener of that proposed cross-party group, has provided some further information that was required or asked for. Any comments on that at all? Gil?
Yeah. I mean, when you see the list of people that have indicated they're going to be attending, then it looks as if it will be also a fairly successful group. So the questions that were raised last time round have been answered, in my view, very well. So, you know, I would think that we approve it. I have no problems with that.
Thank you very much, Gil. Anyone else? Okay, thank you, Tom.
I would agree with that as well. I mean, I think the information we asked for was, you know, supplementary information, but I think it paints a stronger picture now of the work of this group and its focus. And you know, comments from the US Consulate and others, it's useful to see exactly who's going to be contributing to this group. So yeah, I'm content to approve it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone otherwise minded? No. Well, thank you very much. Okay, so everyone is of one mind that we approve recognition, accord recognition to the proposed cross-party group on the USA. Thank you all very much indeed, and that ends the public section of the meeting. So we ask the public to leave, and thank you all very much indeed. Thank you.